Oxygen levels.
Oxygen levels are at 100%.
Set a course to dark waters nigh.
Don't be fooled by the internet. It's cool to get on the computer, but don't let the computer get on you. It's cool to use the computer. Don't let the computer use you. You all saw The Matrix. There's a war going on. The battlefield's in the mind, and the prize is the soul. So be careful. Very careful. Don't be.
Man, Prince hit the money on the head. We all seen the Terminator too. We seen the Matrix, the Terminator, iRobot, so many movies. I even hear that Black Mirror is saying a lot about the technology and AI and what's going on. I still got to check that one out, but man, they have to show us before they actually do it, is what they say.
I don't mean to induce any fear, because fear is a vibration lowering emotion. But dude, if you go to your phone right now, or your calendar on any computer, Microsoft, Windows, Apple, iPhone, and you scroll to 2030, there are no holidays in the calendar after 2030. Now, some people are postulating the end of the world. I'm more thinking 2030 is a pretty big year if you're the Illuminati. You know, they have a lot planned by 2030. Namely, Agenda 2030. So I went, this is January 2030, and I scrolled 2020, 2020, 31, 32, 33. No holidays at all. Some people think this has something to do with the Avatar Project milestones. This is the Moscow New Era for the human century, whatever they call it. Listen to what they have planned, and they've already met a lot of these. 2015 to 2020, they wanted a robotic copy of a human body remotely controlled via BCI. Avatar B. 2020 to 2025, they want an avatar in which a human brain is transplanted at the end of one's life. Now, they may have been doing that in deep underground military bases for a while, but here's where it gets weird. And this is why people are sounding the alarm about artificial intelligence and AI. By 2030 to 2035, they want an avatar with an artificial brain in which a human personality is transferred at the end of one's life. And 2040 to 2045, they want a hologram-like avatar. If you didn't know, the movie The Matrix is a documentary. Their plan for humanity is literally more Matrixy than it is right now. And apparently how they'd get there is AI will take millions of jobs. People will beg for a new economic system because they can't get a job. The solution will be offered, namely universal basic income. Everyone gets enough money to survive, but anything that you're dependent on has control over you. They would need to bring down the current financial system in order to instill the new. You gotta wonder how the natural world all around us is being destroyed by these psychopaths while implementing and creating an artificial world for us to be in. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
But you have to ask yourself, we might be already in the artificial world right now.
If you look younger than your age, this is what it means. It's not about your skin. It's about your spirit. Psychology says people who appear younger often carry something deeper, a resilience of heart and a lightness of being that time can't take. You've been through storms, but you didn't let them make you bitter. You've cried in silence, but you still find reasons to smile in that quiet strength chosen ones radiate. Because looking younger isn't about awarding years, it's about how you live them. You chose peace over drama, growth over grudges, healing over harm, and the body reflects the soul it carries. Studies in psychology link youthful appearances to lower stress levels, emotional intelligence, and a deep ability to let go of what no longer serves you. So you learn how to protect your energy, to walk away without resentment, how to speak with kindness even when it hurts, and that inner calm chosen one softens your face. So maybe you laugh more than most, or maybe you dream like someone much younger. Or maybe you never simply gave up on joy, even when life gave you every reason to. Because understand this, chosen one, the real you isn't measured in years. It's written in how you love, how you forgive, how you start over. The moral of the story is, If people tell you you don't look your age, don't just say thank you. If you look younger than your age,
Is this you, or do you know someone that is like this? If this is you, consider yourself blessed. Alright, this next clip was only up for an hour over on Dark Waters 9, so I wanted to make sure everyone saw it. There was an editing issue and it's fixed now, so here you go.
Before they bleached the bloodline in the Meiji era, you had the Kuro, the Black Kings. Yeah, look it up. Kuro means black, means king. Same word they use now for black paint. It used to mean us. Ever heard of the Jomon? The people
Dang, they some giants.
with thick hair, dark skin,
I need that robe.
and broad faces, those were the original islanders. Every archaeologist worth their student loans knows it. The bones don't lie, but the university paycheck do. Check the Tohoku University digs. They literally found afro-textured hair impressions in ancient pottery. Receipts, baby. Then you had the Satsuma and Ryukyu nobles down in Okinawa, darker than half your cousins on funeral day in July. They traded with Africa and Indonesia before Europe could even spell ship. You want sources. Look at Portuguese travel logs from the 1500s. They describe the rulers as brown and tattooed like Moors. And don't get me started on the black Buddhist monks coming up from Sri Lanka and India. They're the ones who taught martial arts to China, before Bruce Lee even became a thesis topic. That's right, Shaolin didn't start with no pale ball extras in kung fu movies. Go look up Bodhidharma. He ain't white, he ain't East Asian. That man looked like he eats fufu and sparring for breakfast. Before they painted everybody pale and pretended we ain't never existed, the rulers of the East looked more like your aunties and uncles after a hot summer day. These were Jomon queens, Shang kings, Okinawan sea lords, black shoguns, the Moorish monarchs who ran the Silk Road before silk even had a price tag. But then the Meiji boys got insecure, China started bleaching its history books, the Mongols got whitewashed like they dropped into a bucket of baby powder, and suddenly everybody want to act like Asia been pale since the Shar dynasty. Lies. Before the erasure, Europeans were still writing about black nobles in Japan, calling them Moorish Asiatics and drawing them with afros, broad noses, and royal kimonos.
That music was going in. I hope I can play it. I know this is a controversial subject, but one thing that just stands out to me when speaking about possible ancient black people in Asia is that when you look at the Buddhist, any picture of the Buddhist, like any picture you pull up, like take this one for example. I've read that people said that these are actual snails on top of their head, which that's a reach if you ask me. If you ask me, this looks like curly hair. You know, I'm just being honest. Let's look for some more. You know, you don't see no Buddhist or anybody rocking like a headpiece that has, you know, little curly hair on it. It's like it completely disappeared from all these statues, but we see it on every single statue. It has these little curly hairs. You know, if you know what it is and I'm wrong, please, I love to be educated on it. But it's just like, how do you explain every single one of these Buddhist statues? Like, look at this one. That looks like curly hair to me. Afrocentric hair. The only other possible thing this could be like a what's the thing knights put under chainmail, like some type of antenna like chainmail on top of their head, but that's a reach in itself, you know. So when they're starting to talk about black people in ancient Japan, it kind of lines up to all these ancient statues with these Afrocentric looking hair. Like here, this is what they say. It says Buddha's hair is not actually hair, but 108 snails that gave up their lives to cover his head so that he does not suffer a heat stroke while meditating under the scorching sun. That's what they said. So are these snails, or are they trying to hide the fact that it's actually curly hair? You decide. And what do you know? Look at this. This lady's getting her hair done exactly like Buddha. Please show us the side by side. I'll show you guys the side by side. Look at this. And I'm going to put a side by side so you can see it. Somebody's lying.
The sacrifice of the giant's blood that stained the mountains and rivers. The red on the mountains is actually giant's blood. They keep the message. They come from above. Message.
Did you see this one? It's like he's almost eating the moon. Like here's the eyes, the nose, and it's like he's eating the moon. That's crazy.
They come from above. Yes, their time is up, but you can't speak on the words. You don't know about the resets. It don't really make you hurt. Let them stand here, try and speak to their face. 300 foot in the sky, they're not from our race. Nor am I really, I'm different from you. I stand with the petrified giants, I'm never gonna lose. When you see red, that's the sacrifice of the giants. The Nephilim, reptilians, you can never really defy them. My name is Leviticus, and I come from Zion. Yeah, I'm a beast, I'm the light. I come like a lion. I don't write nothing down, it comes from my soul. Space is not even real, you're stuck in a black hole. There's a firmament above, water in the sky. If you don't believe that, then go and check your eyes. They lied to us from birth when we were taught in schools. And if you think differently, they call you a fool. The anchor's on my face and the anchor's on my skin. I come from the mother, the seed from within. I don't do this for no reason, the world is going down. I'm trying to wake this world up. Stand with me, so proud. Loud in your mind, I see the light in the sky. How can we do this? Please don't try and lie. My son is what saved me, he's the king on this world. My name is Levi, and I'm trying to rebuild. Look to the water, the spirit from your soul. I promise you, I will make this world whole. My words are my wisdom, and my words are my time. I speak the truth, I speak true lines. Stay blessed for your heart, stay blessed for your soul. Stay blessed for the life, stay blessed for the wholeness. Wake up, my guys, stay blessed. Go on.
I couldn't even tell you what's over here. This could be a giant spinal cord, or this could be the skull and the eyes. I really wonder what this is, or what it used to be. For context, don't believe everything you hear or see on this video. It's strictly for entertainment purposes only.
Oh my days, what have we done? May the Lord have mercy on our souls. People, we have gained access to the underground city underneath Nottingham. And what we found, you are not going to believe me. Daniel in the lion's den. This is locked off from the public. Nobody knows about it. Nobody has seen it. Nobody's allowed to go there. It is me recording this video. I know somebody who knows how to get there. So what you don't understand is underneath Nottingham is a city of caves, because Nottingham is the secret capital of Babylon. When you look on the map, when it comes to Babylon, Nottingham is the center of the world. Statues and sculptures underground, and they have called it Daniel in the lion's den. So the mainstream narrative says one man named Alder Herbert built himself a house, and then he needed to gain access to the road. So he built himself a tunnel by scraping and chiseling through the rock. And with the leftover rock from the tunnels, he decided to carve himself some lions and other strange creatures. There's also a sphinx and an Egyptian temple down there. Now you gotta ask yourself, who is building temples 50 feet underground? Now listen to this. They're saying that these caves and these carvings was created by one man in the year 1909. And nobody saw these carvings for 46 years. And by the time they saw them, it was out of fashion, so there was no art display, and nobody ever saw them. These carvings are not accessible to the public. Nobody even knows they are there. We had to climb and trespass to find these. There is no way one man created these, because Nottingham is full of caves. In fact, Nottingham is the city of caves. So this cave was there long before he was. And those carvings was not carved by him. Those carvings are in honor to the Babylonian Empire, Daniel in the lion's den.
That is fascinating. There's no telling what's underground that we don't know about. We barely know about what's on the surface.
A man with no friends or a small circle. That's a man you don't mess with. He's learned the hard way. Quality over quantity. He doesn't need a crowd to feel powerful. His strength comes from within. While others chase approval, he walks alone by choice. He's seen the fake friends, the drama and the betrayal, and cut it all off. Now he stands in peace, untouchable. He doesn't need anyone to complete him. He's whole, all by himself. One real friend is worth more to him than 100 fake ones. His circle, tight. His trust, earned. And anyone who brings chaos, gone. His time is precious, and he spends it like a king. He knows what he wants, and he never settles. So when you meet a man with no friends or just a small circle, don't mistake it for weakness. That's strength. That's confidence. He doesn't need your approval. He's already won the only battle that matters, the one with himself. A man with no friends or a...
That was powerful. I love that. Do you feel like he was talking about you? Drop it in the comments below. For context, this video is strictly for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research on everything.
I'm about to put an end to all of this shit. People wondering why everything is happening to us all at once. It's not Project 2025. I keep telling y'all. It's called Agenda 2030. The year 2030, when everything is to be completely flipped over. Our elites, not the government, not even the billionaires, you and I know. The top dogs, their bosses, have given all of them a deadline, 2030, when the whole system is to be completely changed over. Elon Musk said it, universal pay for all. Some people talking about, oh, well, we're going to get a certain amount of money. Money is gone. That's gone. It's not going to be about money. That's why they're going into digital. Everything that they're taking away, they're going to give back, but in a different package. Medicaid, housing, food, all going to be allocated to each person, whether it's monthly, yearly, or however they're going to do it. And the thing about that is, obedience, in order for you to receive any of these benefits or to keep them, you're going to be doing what they tell you to do. To some people, it's going to seem like a safe haven. Why? Because they're already going to be hungry. They're already going to be homeless. And when they make this offer to the people saying, well, we got this for you, many people are going to run to it because they're going to think, shit, I'm living like this. Anything is better than nothing. But you have to understand something. It's called complete control, complete power, where they are going to tell you how you can spend, what you can go to the medical doctor for, and how you have to live. And traveling, get that out your mind. When y'all heard about 15-minute cities, let's think of the Hunger Games, or people talking about the districts. Don't know how that's going to be set up, but it's going to be to the point where total control is going to be by them. And in order for us to survive, we have to walk a certain line. They're already taking away all of our freedom, all of our freedom. They're letting you see it every single day. And what kills me the most is they show it to us. Whether it's through our music, our movies, it doesn't matter. They show us exactly what they're doing to us. You know why? It's not because they have to. It's because in their minds, we are the lower class. We are not intelligent enough to pick up on everything that's going on. And the major thing about it all, they know we can't stop them. So bickering, arguing, and going against one another, it's not even worth it. And talking down on another person because they got less than you today, imagine 5 years from now, you and that person are going to be living identical. So I'm about to put an end to all of this shit. People...
It does feel like they're preparing us for something. Everyone yelling about this AI Atlas coming at us. They're cutting the food stamps off. It's like, what are they preparing? 2030 smart cities? Oh man, we got all these self-driving cars. Pretty soon it's going to be like a little miniature futuristic Jetson with no driver that picks you up and takes you everywhere. It's time to start learning about homesteading and freeze drying stuff. Hunting. It's time for survival.
You look at where the pyramid is, right?
Okay.
So it's really the seal of Solomon, right? So if you connect the M, the A, the N, it spells Mason. So it goes upside down like this and then like this. It's 2 pyramids. Solomon, right? And then did you see the owl on there? The secret owl?
No, where's
Never seen the owl on the... This is on your money, you guys. You guys spend this every day, and you guys never seen this.
Owl is on the dollar?
Yeah, so you need a magnifying glass, but it's up here somewhere, right where the one is. You need a magnifying glass, but it's on there, right? And then it's Anuit Corceptus, right? So you know what that means?
No.
Okay, so and I'll break that down in Novus Ordo Seclorum, New Order of the Ages. And then Anuit Corceptus means he signals the beginning. Who are they talking about? In God we trust. Which God are we talking about? God doesn't need money. So, Antichrist. We're in the beast system right now, you guys. This is why I love crypto, because it's the exact opposite of this shit. It's not even worth the paper it's printed on. So you mean to tell me we give all the power to a private entity, the Federal Reserve, who's not federal, nor have reserves, and they lend it out to us, and we got to pay it back with taxes and interest? Does that make sense to anybody?
They ruined it. They ruined the astronomical clock in Prague. They turned it from this into this. Can you see what they are doing? The moon map is gone. It's replaced with the globe. Why would anyone want to modify historical architecture? Why would anyone want to change it? Why didn't they want us to see the moon map? It can't get more obvious than that. Raises question, what else have they modified? Guys, they ruined it. It can't get more obvious.
That is absolutely crazy. I've never seen the moon map in the middle of, what's it called, Prague? We looked this up the other day. They got the whole moon map taken away. Why would they do that? If you're not familiar with the moon map is, let me show you real quick. Activate submersible. Y'all ain't gonna believe this. Fire Marshal Bill, let me show you something. Moon map. Or you hear someone say moon map, they're basically saying the reflection of Earth is the moon. As we can see, this is Earth. This is, I guess, the real image of Earth. And we can kind of see it blending into the moon's surface. And people are saying they're seeing all types of continents all throughout the moon. If we take that into consideration, there's more land that they're not talking about. This is a deep one for entertainment purposes only, of course. Do your own research on everything. But they are talking about that there's far more land than what they're telling us. So the fact that they took that down,
obvious than that.
so the fact that they took this down definitely raises some questions.
Yeah. What the flip?
Looks like a giant Wi-Fi sign, doesn't it? In the sky.
It is. I can see it. I know. I can see it in my camera. I don't know. What is that? Yeah,
we know what it is.
Yeah. What the flip?
We already know what's going on right here. Taking a look at this, it was like, yeah, Roger, we need that 30 acres dusted in aluminum over. That's a 10-4. Going ahead and starting the haze now. I mean, what else are they doing? Why would you fly? Bust a 90-degree angle, fly. 90-degree angle, fly. 90-degree. What's the purpose here?
In-N-Out just finally disclosed their ingredients for their food. Honestly, I'm very disappointed. Do you see the list of ingredients? Most of this stuff isn't real. The funny part about this is literally their quote. They said, "We are proud of the quality of our ingredients, but we are working on opportunities to make further improvements." Let's be so for real. They're literally using seed oils and half of this stuff isn't real and foaming reducer. You can even compare their burgers to McDonald's, and that's sad. That's like the lowest quality of them all. If you see more than 3 things on the back of their ingredients list, run. You see over 100 things on this ingredient list and half of it is not real. Please don't let me get on the shakes. Most of this stuff is just flavored with chemicals to make it taste good. Half of this stuff is not real. So In-N-Out just finally disclosed their ingredients.
I'm not gonna lie, whenever I'm in California, I try to get an In-N-Out burger and a shake in their fries. And it is absolutely great. You know, it tastes good, man. I know it's not bad for you, but it definitely tastes good. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's definitely overrated. It's not the best burger that I've ever had, but it's definitely good. I enjoy it. Do I think they're overrated? Yes.
So if we look at the mass size of these books in the 1800s, it doesn't make any sense why they were this big. These books were bigger than humans and they were finding them all over the world. And so you then think about the buildings that were made and we talk about how specifically designed they were made and articulately made. Like the pyramids, these books were written by giants. And what you'll find is a lot of these books are written in an ancient language, and that was the Tartarian language. And in some of these books they couldn't actually understand what they were about. But there was one giveaway. There was maps, and Tartaria was found in the maps. So then you start to put the pieces of the jigsaw together. These mass technologically advanced buildings produced in the 1800s, supposedly with a chisel and hammer, by people on horse and carriage? Or is it the fact that there was an ancient civilization relating to Tartaria and giant people who actually harnessed the ability of frequency, just like Nikola Tesla referred to? And they actually got rid of them because energy was free and everybody was healthy. And so then they would not be able to profit off of that.
Probably just regular human beings, but they just grew so big because of how big they got back in the day. Wasn't Noah like 9 feet or something like that? Could these buildings been around during biblical times and they actually had giants walking through them?
Don't worry about the machines. For sure, we should understand one thing, that man can never make another man. Computer is a computer. Computer is just a toy. Man cannot even make a mosquito. So we should have confidence. Computer only have chips. Man have the heart. It's the heart where the wisdom comes from. So I think in the next 10 or 20 years, human beings or every country, every government should focus on reform the education system, making sure our kids be able to find jobs in the future, be able to live in a life that only working 3 days a week, 4 hours a day. And that is very important. If we do not change the education system that we are in, we are all going to be in trouble. That's my view, and don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Working only 3 days a week? That doesn't even register in my mind. I mean, it sounds amazing, but what are we gonna do? I'd just be sitting there thinking, man, I gotta do something. Probably need it. Just soak out in the sun, just collect my thoughts, read the Bible, you know. It actually sounds pretty nice.
What you're seeing here are not instruments. These are Tartarian resonance machines, devices that only appeared to make music. In truth, they were precision frequency engines built to move magnetism, light, and breath through geometry. The coils, levers, and strings you see were tuned to sub-harmonic codes, exact intervals that aligned with the crystalline architecture of human cells. Every vibration reorganized the body's internal current, restoring patterns once known as the electric anatomy of man. So-called musicians weren't performers. They were operators. Each rotation of a gear, each pluck of a string, triggered electromagnetic reactions that shaped emotion, memory, even thought. These surviving recordings were reconstructed from wax cylinders and copper templates sealed beneath collapsed Tartarian structures. The last audible evidence of a civilization that engineered consciousness through sound. You are hearing technology. What you're seeing here are not instruments.
That's the reason why we don't see bells anymore.
Stony Royd Cemetery, up on the hill overlooking Halifax, Yorkshire, UK. And I saw this. And I noticed straight away this gnarly old melt, which drew me in. And then you can see plants growing up there out of the roof, feeding on the scalar energy. Look at this. Look at that. That is fantastic. Yeah, that is really amazing. That is fantastic. So they've smeared concrete, whatever this stuff is, putty, over, I guess they smeared it over the bits that were just too, I'd love to see what's under there. Unacceptable, basically. They smear over stuff that's unacceptable. Too many questions would be asked. Oh, there's some faces up there. Let's have a look. Drop my bag.
Almost like those plants grew on purpose to give them hair. Like, what was it? Like a chia pet. Did they actually try to do that on purpose?
Yeah, that makes a good photo, does it not? Not sure if that's old world red brick, or I think that's probably been put in afterwards. And then more of this junk. Look at this. Ooh, a little partial red brick of survival there. So from that I can deduce that this whole building was very likely completely built of red brick. I wonder what they say the building was used for. Very large cemetery, lots of melt all around. So I'm thinking collapsed vaults. This would be some kind of energetic zone back in the Tartarian era, as we call it. There's another bit of red brick, look at that.
You know that they say that red brick conducts energy. You didn't hear about that? Check this out. We'll get back to this. Fire Marshal Bill, let me show you something. I gotta show you this because he keeps pointing out the red brick, and I was remembering, what's the significance of the red brick? And then it hit me. Red brick.
So let's talk about one of the big parts of the free energy architecture of the old world. Red bricks. That's right. There is a reason why so much of the old world structures are red bricked, and why so much of the buried structures we find are of the red bricked variety. Because they knew something that we are just now catching on to today, or at least being let disclose today. These red bricks could hold an electric charge. Just take a look at some of these articles yourself. You see they disclose a lot of these bits and pieces of old world tech in little back page news article dumps. Ones that many will never see. And it's forgotten just as quick. Red bricks, some of the world's cheapest and most familiar building materials, can be converted into energy storage units that can be charged to hold electricity, like a battery, according to new research. Is it really new research, or repurposed technology from the old world? Red electric brick roads, red electric brick walls. Sadly, I wouldn't hold too much hope for this technology coming out in the mainstream anytime soon. Cheap, energy-efficient bricks that can store electricity. Well, there's no profit in that, especially with the red bricks already there. The ones that aren't covered up with some cheap facade or concrete. That is why most of the old world buildings they did still keep like this. They rushed to cover up with some ugly facade. Question everything, friends. Until next time. I want the old world analogy from the old.
You can almost see the wiring still in this, if I'm not mistaken. That looks like an old copper wire, doesn't it? So when he's pointing out the red bricks here, that is the first thing that comes to mind.
Old World Reset, Telegram, Facebook and Rumble. I'm not doing so many melt videos these days. I've got bigger fish to fry. You can end up getting obsessed with a certain aspect of the Great Reset, and I'm widening my horizons. But I still like to document the evidence. Wonder what that is.
That looks like some type of cannon, doesn't it? What is this, guys?
They'll probably say a flagpole holder. Oh, this is Old World. I'm sure, because in there, look, they've hidden it all up with the ivy. The ivy feeds on scalar energy. I used to think it was just the carbon-14 that they were feeding on, but not. And they're great for covering up melt, as the birds know. What a lovely area of town.
Man, I would love for him to go inside and show us what's in there.
What a strange area of town. Nice vibe. I'm quite sensitive to energies. I do like the vibe here. I immediately thought that when I came here. Grated up resonance chamber. That looks like it's been smashed off. They do that on the faces. I think it's the ones that show a Negro type nose. I think Freemasons going back were just going around smashing up all the faces that had a Negro type nose. Not 100% sure on that, but I guess so. So here we are back at this section. You know, what a story, what a story. What a story. Thanks, everybody.
I bet you'll never look at old structures the same again. It's almost like trying to reverse engineer them with our eyes and get some type of contact clues for on the truth of the original purpose of these buildings.
When Morpheus holds up the battery in the Matrix and he says, "We are the source of energy," I finally understand what you mean. When the guys made the Matrix, they knew exactly what they were talking about. Wherever they got their information from is very, very interesting. The manipulated history that we find seems to be created and recreated for us on an ongoing basis. And this is what's becoming a little disturbing, but at the same time not surprising, what's going on here. There are places that we don't know about, that we should know about, like the Towers of Bologna in Italy. This is a drawing from the 1700s. How many of you have seen the Towers of Bologna? That until 200 years ago, the city of Bologna had more than 200 towers, up to 50 meters tall. They're all gone. And then suddenly you start stumbling upon an empire that until the late 1800s was a well-known empire across the world. You look at the old maps and you see the Tartarian Empire, one of the most important global empires, and then suddenly gone. We hear nothing about Tartary and the Tartarian Empire and what happened to them. And you start seeing that history is literally changing right under our eyes. Recent history, it's like just being wiped out. We know nothing about it. You see evidence of these things all over the place. You see very large buildings that, you know, with the 2 or 3 bottom floors are just completely covered in mud, and then they just leave them like that, and they create the entrance on the higher floors to that same building. The reason I'm bringing this up is that if the news that we have coming from the media is fake, imagine how wrong all of our history is. And all of this, the fake news and this potentially fake history, is just adding to the great human puzzle and making us even more confused about who we are, where we come from, and why we're here. You know, institutions keep telling us that the ancients were primitive, and they looked something like this. And they built countless megalithic structures with their very primitive tools, like we can build them today. And they left behind these incredible places from times that we cannot remember. And we have no idea when these things actually happened. Some of them we speculate, and we're probably very wrong. And they dragged large blocks up mountains and built platforms. And you go to Mount Sharia in Siberia, and that's just ridiculous. I mean, look at the size of these blocks and these structures in Siberia. Realize that wherever you go in the world, there are mysterious ancient civilizations and we really don't know much about the motive. We recognize what they've done. We're surprised by what they've done. Carving entire cities out of bedrock like this, platforms like this, and underground structures like this that are covered in Egypt just to hide it. And Borobudur, which is just obviously such a powerful, resonating thing. Anyone that knows anything about sound and resonance takes one look at this and go, okay, I know exactly what they do.
100%. Look at these giant bells. Half of this stuff I've never seen before, and they're hiding it from us. I feel like every history teacher should be showing us this, not some Boston Tea Party in Mayflower. Come on, I want to learn about this stuff.
What's interesting, as you may have noticed, many of these places, if not all of them that you've just seen, and there are countless more, all of them seem to be in the Northern Hemisphere. And that is a huge mystery. But unfortunately, the discovery of the ancient ruins of Southern Africa has just now completely blown that apart. Because now that is no longer the case. And the attention has shifted to the ancient ruins of South Africa and Southern Africa. The stone circles of Southern Africa have become one of the most interesting, mysterious, and unbelievable discoveries of ancient archaeology. ancient civilizations, not just because they are so amazing to look at and remarkable, but because they opened a door and they gave us very important clues as to what the ancient civilizations are doing and what technology they use. And that's actually been the big breakthrough to get to a deeper understanding of how smart and advanced the ancient civilizations were. And when you start noticing these flower-shaped structures, that's when it gets really interesting. Notice that these are not standalone structures. They're all connected by these channels that connect them, thousands of miles of channels, like they look like wires that connect all stone circles together. And then you can see that weird spider's web effect around it. No stone circle stands alone. They're all connected in this very large grid. And basically what you're looking at here is what has now been identified or recognized as the largest cluster of stone ruins anywhere on Earth. How many are there? More than 10 million of these structures throughout South Africa and Zimbabwe. It is quite staggering. 10 million is not a small number.
I've never heard about that.
This is an insanely huge number. When we get to the reason why they did this, I think this is when it starts to get really interesting. Important thing, no doors and entrances. There are several archaeological drawings that clearly show us no doors and entrances. Clustered together like grapes. The channels connecting them all together, like I've showed you, everything is connected. What kind of stones are we dealing with here? And this is where it all starts to point us in a very interesting direction. It's a special kind of stone known as hornfels. It's a black stone. It looks like this. It's black on the inside. And then on the outside, it's got this reddish-brown skin that grows very, very slowly. A few thousand years per microscopic layer. That's how long it takes for this patina to grow. So if you've got tools or artifacts made out of this black rock, and the tools and artifacts are covered in patina, then you have to assume or conclude that the tools and artifacts were made a long, long time ago, not just a few hundred or a few thousand years ago, because that's not how the patina grows. So the patina in this is a very important way for us to not evaluate exactly or date the stones, the tools, but to give us an idea of how old they are. And we know that based on that, they're very, very old. The other important thing is that the stones ring like bells. And it was really at the moment that I discovered that these stones have acoustic properties and they ring like bells that everything changed. I no longer looked at the stone circles as cattle kraal or dwellings. I suddenly realized that we're dealing with sound. Sound, the primordial source of all things. Infinite energy, what Nikola Tesla probably used. Sound that levitates. And now we got sound coming out of the stone walls, of the stone circles. That's a great breakthrough. But what are we dealing with here? What are the stones made of? They're made of silica, people. Silica. Most of the content of these stones, what are they made of? 90% of most of the stone on this planet is made of silica. Sandstone is virtually pure silica. So here we have advanced technology used in ancient sites. The most advanced technology today is all silicon-based technology. Silica has memory. It contains knowledge. It contains information. It conducts sound and light. It stores light and sound and information and stores energy. In Southampton University, they're experimenting now with tiny little crystals that store up to 350 terabytes of information. One tiny little thing. But I can tell you that crystals like that will actually store infinite amount of information. Other important thing is that these structures are not just memory banks, they're actually giant machines. Giant machines that are activated by light and by sound. What were these stone circles for? I think you start seeing what these patterns are all about. This is the cymatic pattern for the shape of the sound on a metal plate will make this beautiful sound. And you realize that each one of these stone circles is just a cymatic pattern of the sound of planet Earth at that specific point. This is a representation of the sound frequency right there. So each one of these is a plug point, an energetic plug point into Mother Earth, becoming an energy generating source and multiplying that frequency and that energy.
I love talking about the old world ancient technologies. I could do this all day. Oh my God. She got it out though, didn't she? She hit the A-Town stomp, got it up out of there. Ah, what a traumatic experience that must have been.
So you've asked me many times, what did they do with the bodies? Where's the remains from the mud flood? Been hesitant to show it, but I've talked about it many times. The extensive catacombs of Paris, over 180 miles that we know of tunnels containing over 6 million remains. And let's see how they are kept. That's right, those are exactly what you think they are. Stacked exactly like that. So apparently this all took place when Paris ran out of room in the cemeteries. So they just piled up all these bones nice and neatly, cleaned them up, and arranged them ever so delicately in a non-sinister, evil type of way. These catacombs in Paris are just one of many spread all over this world that have been uncovered, containing remains just like this. The catacombs in Paris is just one of the largest that we've been told about. And they happily provide tours of, just like all those underground cities that are rediscovered and they give neat little tours of. And ending here in Paris, here's just a few more examples of these catacombs and crypts filled with cleaned remains. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
Who knows how many catacombs are out there? And that one in Paris with the 6 million bodies, that could be just one. There could be hundreds of catacombs out there that are undiscovered. Could they possibly be the remains of previous resets? You heard that right, resets, not just one. All the bones in the catacombs could be just from one reset. But what about the other resets? Where are the bodies for those?
These keep me awake at night, not for the reason that you would think. In the ancient world, you have stone circles and dolmens on every continent globally. That doesn't get me. 3 different people build the same pyramids using the same architectural style over long distances and vast amounts of time. And they also mummify their people, which we have scanned and confirmed and found some weird stuff like 3 toes and elongated heads with larger cranial volumes than we have. Okay. We find an artifact, we x-ray it, turns out it's an ancient computer. We remove the jungle, see what's underneath, and we find the biggest megastructures in the most inhospitable climates ever. That's fine. We attempt to explain how they build this stuff. But when we try and move a rock that is 1/3 the size of this rock, it takes 3 semis pulling a custom-built trailer with 22 axles across perfectly flat land just to drop it so people can walk under it. How they did it, that is just the gateway drug. I want to know, why are they all pretty much the same? So when I was in Egypt, I discovered that this is one of the most prolific symbols in the entire country. It's everywhere. One would think that an icon this important would be very well known. And as a dude from an advanced culture myself, I know a good icon when I see one. The strange part is the God Self icon is not an icon. Culturally, it behaves more like a font. Its meaning is the same. It's just the style that gets changed. Now add that to the flower of life and the swastika, also found all over the world. And you, my friend, are staring down the rabbit hole of who we are and why we got here. Get it. Jump down the hole.
Did you know the Great Sphinx has a tail? And that it also may have been built by the civilization of Atlantis thousands of years earlier than mainstream history suggests for a very specific purpose. Welcome to Phil's Pixel. According to this theory, the Sphinx was not made by the ancient Egyptians. We're told it was built about 4,500 years ago, around 2500 BC, but many believe it was constructed by a civilization that far predates anything we know. The Sphinx itself doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't even exist. For one, the ancient Egyptians were obsessed with recording everything they did. Yet, just like the pyramids, despite there being hieroglyphs that go back 5,000 years and more, not a single one of them mentions the Sphinx at all. One mainstream theory suggests the Sphinx was built as a sort of guardian of the pyramids to protect the pharaoh's treasures, but over time lost its significance, and the Egyptians just forgot to mention it in any of their texts. Like anywhere, no records of when it was built, for what purpose, or why its head is so small. Just look at it. The most immediate observation of the Sphinx is how tiny its head is compared to the rest of its body. It doesn't even remotely fit proportionally with its enormous body and just looks awkward, like it was done by accident. As you may know, ancient Egyptians were masters of proportion with their art, carvings, and statues. In fact, they are quite literally world famous for it. Statues they carved like these are notoriously known for being scarily precise, almost like they were machine made. You're telling me the guys who precisely calculated all four edges of a 146 meter high pyramid to meet perfectly at the top at the same time, a marvel of engineering even by today's standards, made the mistake of getting the head too small on a monument as important as the Sphinx, said to be the face of Khafre, the successor of Khufu, yet many agree it does not look like any other depictions of Khafre across ancient Egypt. As a matter of fact, it appears as if the Sphinx once had a much larger head, thought to have originally had the head of a dog or perhaps a lion with a full mane, and by the time the ancient Egyptians discovered it, they gave it a facelift, making it look more human and inadvertently ruining the proportions in the process. Cause whoever did build the Sphinx dug it directly into the limestone bedrock beneath it, carving and hollowing out an entire enclosure around it. The blocks that were cut out of this bedrock were used to build the temple of the Sphinx right in front of it, which have mostly deteriorated over time. Now, this right here, this is the part that sealed the deal, all but confirming we've gotten the age of the Sphinx wrong all these years, even among skeptics. With initially doubtful professional geologists like Robert Schoch traveling to Egypt with the intention of proving these fringe theories wrong. Yet, upon seeing it up close for the first time from the perspective of a geologist rather than an archaeologist, he realizes it is scientifically accurate to suggest the Sphinx is far older than we claim, because water erosion patterns around the enclosure indicate that heavy weathering by either strong or prolonged streams of water have occurred here. The Sphinx water erosion hypothesis. He and many others concluded that patterns like these definitely could not have been weathered by natural wind and sand, and also confirmed that these could not have been as a result of the Nile River flooding, leading to one of two choices, either consistent rainfall over thousands of years or super intense flash flooding. Climate data confirms this part of Egypt saw very little rainfall over the past 5,000 years, leaving us only with option 2, powerful floods. And the last era that fits the criteria that aligns with the rock patterns here was around 9600 BC, suggesting the Sphinx to be closer to 11,600 years old, conveniently lined up with the time of the Younger Dryas. And around 12,000 years ago, the Sphinx would have been facing in the direction of the constellation of Leo at the time, a lion, leading us back to the idea that the Sphinx may have originally been a lion monument with a much larger head facing the constellation that it represented, only to get washed away and buried for thousands of years, get rediscovered by the ancient Egyptians, and then forgotten again, until the 1800s, around which time the top of its head became visible from shifting sands. Then in the 1920s, the first official excavation started, finishing in 1936 for the very first time in a long time, from which many involved with the project agreed the depth that it was buried at did not match anything else in the area. There's no way the Sphinx could have been that deep underground by accident, leading them to strongly believe it was intentionally buried. And why? Because it may have been built as a safekeeper of knowledge for the legendary Atlantean Hall of Records that still exists hidden beneath it to this day. We'll dive into that one next time, and reminder, this is just a theory. For entertainment purposes only, may or may not be true, so shut the f*** up.
Let's take a closer look at the Sphinx. Because if you ask me, it definitely was a lion at one point. Because it just does not add up. I mean, take a look at these large paws this thing's have. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if it had a giant lion's head with a mane around it. The chest came out way further than where it's coming out now. And look how it's sitting. Like the hind legs are bunched up like a cat, and the fact that it has a tail? Come on now. The Egyptians found this Sphinx and then they turned it into this. Could this be evidence of a possible reset in ancient times? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
There's something super weird about all of these. Do you see it? These are real statues from ancient people all over the world. They are often separated by hundreds, if not thousands of years. Despite their separation in distance and age, none of them have a pupil. That mystery ties in with the entire ancient mystery. We could initially assume that the pupil was too difficult to add, but look at the detail everywhere else. The ancients spared no expense there ever. I think they could handle a pupil. Where we do see a pupil, the work is often way more inferior. Or they look like they were carved in later by a far less capable artist that couldn't really even center the pupil. Now, compare these with and without the pupil. How do you feel when you look at them? The one with the pupil seems like it's freaking out or has a 1,000-yard stare. It's weird. The lack of pupil almost makes you want to assume that emotion. So what's the mystery? The pupil controls the amount of light that comes into the retina. In the dark, we expand. In the light, it contracts. Too much dark we can't see. Too much light we can't see. At its core, light is the information we use to decipher and navigate reality. Now, the iris is the muscle that adjusts the pupil. Each iris is unique. That's why it can be used for identification. The lack of pupil indicates no need for outside information. We typically see it in deities. They don't need to interpret data from the eyes. They have the inner sight. They obviously know far more than you with your tiny little pupils. Another clue is given in the shape of the eye. It's nearly the same across every culture, regardless of the culture's appearance. The clue was given to us through the wedget. Its icon mirrors the shape of the limbic system in the brain. Even our research today is suggesting that this could be the seat of consciousness. So being consciously above the physical world requires no egoic identification with the physical world. You can think of this like the yogis and the monks that we see today doing crazy things with just their mind. Mind over matter, right? Our culture even associates this with higher intelligence in our version of aliens. But back then, this tactic was used to illustrate mastery over knowledge of the great mystery. Who are we? Where do we come from? Why are we here? How do we find that out?
In 2023, an incredible video was captured by photographer Dmitry Lyashev on a flight over Yakutia. In 2023, an incredible video was captured by photographer Dmitry Lyashev on a flight over Yakutia, revealing a seemingly endless long wall. Following the release of this footage, scientists began scrutinizing the images and concluded that the wall was man-made. The wall extends to the ocean, continuing beneath the water. Surprisingly, no one had previously noticed this wall, prompting bewilderment among scientists. Interestingly, Soviet scientist, architect, and occultist Ludwig Mavrikovich Heinrich, who visited a secret Vatican library in 1920, discovered a book referencing this wall in Yakutia. You can find a video about Mavrikovich on my channel. The wall spans several hundred kilometers. Speculation suggests that the Russian government prohibited aerial photography over the area, and in March 2024, a drone operator filming the wall was arrested. Presently, the government is striving to eliminate all online information related to this wall, leaving its nature shrouded in mystery.
So I guess this is the video of the ice wall right here.
In
Take a look at it. Could that be the ice wall?
Breaking news, you're going to hear this first from me, and then eventually other people will start copying me. So this is a scan of a city, buried city in Bolivia, Amazon. And this city is built in concentric circles, as you can probably see there. This is obviously underground, hidden, but it's been picked up by lasers, etc. Now, if you look at the concentric circles, where else have you heard of concentric circles? Yes, Atlantis. Now, if you've watched my previous videos, you will know that I am the person that has told you who was on Atlantis. And if we go one step further from the concentric circles to a Sumerian city, wow, doesn't that look the same as the other two? Obviously that's all buried and everything else, but that is in concentric circles. So once again, our true history has matched the Anunnaki to be in the Bolivian area. The Sphinx is a lot older than you think, but not as old as some researchers say. Now, some researchers say this is prior to the flood, which would have been 10,000 years plus ago. And they say this is also older than the pyramids. But the problem with some of these researchers is they forget that the pyramids had a covering over it. So any weathering would have took that off first and then started to work on the inner stones, whereas the Sphinx didn't have an outer covering, so the weathering attacked that first, so that's why it looks older. But anyway, so no, it was built after the floods. The ancient texts say that, which makes sense if you read the ancient texts. Now, the Great Flood was actually caused by Nibiru coming round, breaking off an ice shelf, causing tsunami. Now, Nibiru's been round twice more since, so I'm saying that there could have been a second mini flood, bearing in mind the Nile's not too far from it, which could have caused the weathering that they believe is old.
That's an interesting theory.
Have to pick your kids' hobbies for them. Poor mindset people allow their children to do whatever they want. Wealthy people craft with intention the outcome they want for their children. It's not like you're allowed to stay home and not play a sport. No, you play a team sport. I need you to learn those lessons. I'm not here for my kids' approval. And I've told them since they were 5, when you're 17, you're out of my house. Get ready. I'm just going to look myself in the mirror and go, Dan, did you get them ready for the world? And you have.
I would do the exact opposite of everything he just said. You're not out of my house until you get married. You definitely don't have to participate in any sport if you don't want to. I don't watch sports my damn self. Maybe an instrument. That would probably be the one thing I might push a little bit, is an instrument. And that's not even if I homeschool. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Everyone is such a rush to get their kids out of their house. You know, maybe they need to chill for a little bit. Maybe 30 is the new 21 with all this madness that's going on. I don't know. You guys tell me. That's all we have for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps your boy out. We're getting a lot better with the likes. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Today's code word is Sunday Banger. Go ahead and drop Sunday Banger in the comments below. When you do that, that lets me know you're real, when you made it all the way through the video and you really rock with your boy. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys. This was creepy, disturbing videos that made me rethink reality, kept me up all night, and changed everything. Till next time.